Say, man, we got a special treat for y'all. But before we get into the treat, man, you listen to me, man. You know we supposed to be live at 10, but I told you, listen to me. I told you we are not Cowboy live streamers. We are Cowboy what? Live streamers.
Screamers.
You know what
Yes,
I'm
sir.
saying? And we had life happen to us this morning, man. But let me tell you this right here, man. We are live. And this morning, we got a special guest. The three amigos. I can't even do it. Let me get it. The amigos of Cowboy content have brought you guys something very, very special, man. Very, very special. Mr. Top Cat, Mr. Tony can say it himself, man. What is up with you this morning, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. So it seems to me it's a cuatro amigos. So we got four of
Yes,
us.
sir. we got the fourth.
Hey,
Hey,
we made it. So hey, I'm just glad to be here with you guys. Have some fun.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man. But I say, before we get into the content, man, because I'm gonna tell you, man, I know this internet make it seem like it's free. Top, I'm gonna tell you this right now, man. This internet costs, man. So this is what we gotta do. we gotta pay a couple bills over here, man. We gotta pay a couple bills. So this is what we about to do. I'm about to go through here. I'm about to say what's up to everybody that's helping pay these bills around here and keeping West Coast landlord and HTM on. And we about to get to it, man. So, hey, you know what, Henry? I'm gonna let you start this thing up. Start it off while I update my thumbnail real quick.
Me too.
Already, man. Well, hey, man, it's your boy Henry the Moore reporting live from the liquor store. How's everybody doing today, man? So, hey, I just want to take the time to give a special shout out to the folks over at the page showing love and support. Joshua Fisher, Mickey, I see you. NFZ, I see y'all tapping in over here, man. Thank y'all. And hey, we in here with a legend, man. Like he started on two of our championship teams. So you got to show love to Mr. Casillas, man. So everybody give it up for Mr. Casillas while you're in here, man.
Facts.
Yes, sir. Landlord, man. Let them know what the trap is, man.
Yes, sir, man. Y'all already know Landlord from Alabama, live from the trap, man. We got a lot of people in here rocking with us today. You know, shout out to Mickey, shout out to Nisi, shout out to Rozzy, shout out to Bruce got the toxic juice, Kelvin Hicks, Jameson Taylor, man. Y'all make sure y'all show some love. We got a legend in the building, a two-time Super Bowl champ, man. We on our championship vibes. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
Oh no, you know, man, I was just about to go up here, and because we always got some folks over here on Facebook. It's helping keeping these lights on, man. So I want a real quick shout out to my boy Joe Trantina. Shout out to my boy Dexter. Shout out to Naheem. Appreciate you, TC Carter, Charlie Jones, Michael Kid. What up, Michael? Hey, Mike out there in enemy territory, man. So he really holding it down, man. What's up with you, Henry? What's up with your Rich? What's up with your April? What's up with your Thomas? What's up with your Charlie T. Carter and Marino? What's up with you? Omega, I appreciate you for the love. Now listen to me. Usually I tell a joke. I get all lovey-dovey with the guests, but we jumping right in. Tony, I want to know, what was your thoughts when Zeke got released?
You wouldn't even let the man get warmed up.
You know what? I wasn't laughing. I wasn't laughing. I think everyone, it's Cowboy Nation. They get in this frenzy of, when in Zeke was, he's been in the league 7 years. It's hard to believe it's only been 7 years, and just how great he was the first 3 or 4 years of his career. And I think I just felt like, part of that, the starting of trying to do something, go in postseason play and really just kind of create something, a legacy for that particular team, fell short. And I kind of felt sorry for Zeke because, I felt like that they didn't do him justice over the last few years. It was either they didn't play complementary football, and now a lot of people on social media were bashing Zeke's all washed up and Tony Pollard and everything. And now that he's gone, everyone's like, oh, okay, we're so sorry that Zeke's gone. And I'm like, just stop it. I mean, most of those people on social media are one of the haters that wanted Zeke out of the building. But it's kind of the nature of the business. I think for a running back and to see him, I mean, I can't believe it's been 7 years, man. It doesn't seem like it's been that long. But I think his body feels like it's played 12 years. I think that was the problem with what has happened, and probably the reason why is a casualty of the salary cap and just getting paid too much and moving on to someone else.
Yeah, West Coast. 1 second, sir. We got a mixed bag of fans in here. Some people may be too young to know who you are. Some people may know who you are. You know what I'm saying? I
Just
want.
Google.
I want you to talk your talk.
Hey, real
Go over that resume and let these people know what you done did out here.
listen to me,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
want to say something real quick though, because if you Google him, there's technically an error on your Google, right?
I'm sure there is. Hopefully it's not.
I'll tell you what the error is.
Hopefully it's not bad. As long as when you Google yourself, you're just like, okay,
No,
make sure nothing pops up bad.
yeah, I'm gonna tell you.
That's what's most important.
I mean, the accuracy, the misaccuracy is right. Like 1986, right? If you Google who the first overall pick is in a draft, it's gonna see a running back standing there. But technically, you were the first overall pick in 1986, right? Like,
yeah, behind Bo Vincent Jackson. So that's
Oh.
I always tell everybody,
man,
if you,
Big Bo.
you know, that's not, Bo Jackson was obviously the number one pick
he didn't play it
technically.
down.
Exactly. He was smart, decided he wanted to go play baseball, because that's what I'd recommend anyone that wants to have a career in football. If you're dual talented, play freaking baseball. But that's what I tell everyone. I said, you know what? I start off, well, you may not know who I am, but just you may know a guy named Bo Jackson. And it's like, yeah, we've heard of Bo Jackson. Well, I was a second player, technically the first player picked in that draft, because Bo Jackson ended up playing for Kansas City Royals and played baseball. So I appreciate you pointing that out, brother.
Appreciate you.
It's just some people in the chat. You know, it's some young guns in here, so I just want to make sure they got the proper respect in here.
When you start talking about the Cowboys, and you start talking about when we won Super Bowls, are like, what the hell, man? It's like, well, who is this guy? I mean, the Cowboys, if you're a young generation Cowboy fan, it's been a long ass time since we've been back. So
yeah,
unfortunately, it's an ongoing joke. I mean, what do you call a Dallas Cowboys Super Bowl ring? Old.
yeah.
Right.
You know the irony of everything though? The irony is, like, when you were a Dallas Cowboy, right? You guys always had to go through the 49ers, and you guys always handle business, right? So now you see the Cowboys or a team who get to the playoffs, and it seems like that same franchise that you guys used to dominate now kind of like has our number. Like, what are your, like, in, you know, I've looked at your content, and I know you were very, you up to date on things when it comes to, Cowboys and things like that. I want to know, man, if you had to sum up the last two Cowboy playoff games, why couldn't the Dallas Cowboys beat the 49ers like you guys were able to? Whether it be and think about this, T. We had an opportunity to play them at home and on the road. So we've tasted both sides of the spectrum, and both games basically ended the exact same way. So it's like, if you're in the last play of the game. So I mean, if Jerry brings you in, he's asking you, how do we get over this 49er hump? What are you telling this team, man?
Man, I wish I've had $1 for every time a Cowboy fan asked me that question, because ultimately it's hard to pinpoint it. I'll sum it up like this. I think when we played, obviously back in my era, we played great in big games. Okay. And seems like this generation Cowboy team, for some reason, whatever, lack of focus or whatever it is, they don't play great in the big moments. And I think that's a difference between really good teams and really kind of like teams that are just kind of there and really haven't proven themselves. And I think that's what we've been able to do. And I think there's a certain sentiment in the Cowboy Nation is like, we've been told this for several years, and yet when we get to the playoffs, we just don't play the level that we need to be able to play to beat teams like San Francisco. And really, that's the bottom line. I mean, it's really kind of a simple answer, because again, it's just it's frustrating. I mean, social media and people that talk about the Cowboys, and it's kind of the lightning rod for all the people talking about the Cowboys and the relevancy of them and how important how popular they are. But I think it's just the guys that really need to play great, for some reason it doesn't resonate. And to me, those are the guys that you got to build. Your big guys, your big game, your franchise guys. those are the guys that have to play great. But then you need the role players to, sprinkle in there and make big plays. But that starts with the guys that are really the leaders and the guys that are supposed to play big plays in big moments.
Right. So let me ask you this. Right. The first time that we played the 49ers, we sort of got ran off the field. We gave up, if I'm not mistaken, like 169 yards on the ground. And, I know as a defensive tackle, I believe your specialty was as a run defender. So what would you do to shore up this run defense? Because there has been an Achilles heel of this defense for the past several years.
Great question.
Well, I just saw Alex Arcon, the converted an offensive lineman.
We were talking about this.
You're taking someone's question, Tony.
Yeah.
You're taking someone's question right now.
That's the answer. This guy's been playing 6'7", 320 pounds, and then all of a sudden you're going to move him over to the defensive side of the ball. I mean, it may be the most brilliant move they've ever made, but I don't know. I think that you brought guys in like Neville Gallimore and really just hasn't done what the expectation. And I think now when you look at this defense, I mean, they've obviously went out and, Stephon Gilmore, they gotten players to really help the back end. But I think that's kind of where you're looking at now. It's like, what are you going to do to really help somebody that can take up space, can be a run stopper? And when I read that, I'm like, well, damn, I mean, maybe there's somebody out there they can draft. But to your point, I think that's what you need. And really the thing that, regardless of who's on the field, whoever's playing inside, outside, wherever back end, I mean, these are the guys that really just have to find a niche in the NFL. And really, for the most part, the Cowboys have done pretty well. Obviously, the free agencies they've signed thus far. But, that's where you need the dogs, man. I mean, you need the guys that get down there and down and dirty, take up space, are nasty, have tenacity. All they want to do is eat blockers up. And those are the dudes you got to find. They're hard to find because, look, I want a dude that just blows it up and just continues to just work hard and just wear guys out. And, I thought Tristan Hill may have been a guy that could have been, kind of a cornerstone. But I think maybe in a draft you assess that. But I think that, again, that's a position that really you have to it's not sexy, but ultimately that's really when you get into really tough games, those are the guys that really just need to be able to kind of send this message of physicality and, as I mentioned, tenacity.
All right.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you one question real quick. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just want to go and piggyback off there, just to know, like he was saying, like you look at some of the past Super Bowl champions that actually went out there and won. Like they did have dominant defensive tackles. Even in Chris Jones, even though he's not a traditional defensive tackle, he still is a guy that is a force in the middle. You go back the year before when you had Aaron Donald. The year before that, Villa was starting. When the Eagles won in 2017, they had Fletcher Cox and those other guys. So like. You got to really do some work in the trenches if you want to be successful. So I totally agree with Tony on that one.
Hey, I just want to shout out to the people in the comment box. We got over 250 people watching right now, man. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? Man, let's see if you make sure you guys hit that share button. Let's see if we can get this over 300 people, man. We need 50 more people. I need y'all to go out there and knock on some doors and find 50 more people. Let's get to 300 people watching up in here, man. I appreciate you, man. Go ahead, landlord.
Yes, sir. I was just thinking, like, I know you are a defensive lineman. So what are your thoughts on Micah Parsons being like basically filling that role? Do you think a player with his build, you think that's sustainable the way he plays? How do you think that's sustainable?
That's a good question.
I think it's a great question because I think that I don't know if this is something accurate. I know certainly Micah's not going to tell you, but he's a big dude, but he's not. He's a guy that's more needs to play inside and all over the place. But I mean, when you got a weapon like that, man, it's hard not to just use it.
You got to take care of it, right?
Yeah, and I know down in those trenches, boy, it's nasty. I mean, there's some big fellas down there, and as great a player as Micah is, I mean, it starts to wear on you. Those big bodies, man, they start leaning on you. They're double teaming, triple teaming, and trying to take you out of the game. It's difficult. But I mean, that's the kind of player he is. He's very dynamic. I think that, you know, the comparison was to LT, and anyone's ever seen Lawrence Taylor play, I mean, you need to go watch him because I see some resemblance there, but Micah's kind of a different type of cat. He does different things, and he's so fast. But yeah, I think as hard as he plays, I mean, that dude, he plays hard.
He got a motor on it. Yeah.
Oh my God. And that's the difference between the great ones, man. I mean, this guy, he wants to make the play. It doesn't matter where he's at. And I think sometimes it's kind of like, how do you tell a guy, oh, well, Micah, you know what, if you can't make that play, just maybe just kind of not shut it down or not play hard, but don't sacrifice your body. And that's kind of hard when you're a football player and you play with that mentality. It's kind of silly to say, but you know, I think it wears and tear on it. You got 17 games in the regular season. You're playing as hard as he is and playing down there in the trenches, and you got your hand down the ground. I mean, that's different than being able to play on that second layer and just roam around the field, and hopefully those guys in front of you protect you. But, man, I tell you what, it's great to watch him play. And I think here's the thing, too, is that when you got a guy like that, you just feed off of it. I mean, that's – he's just so infectious, man. It's like, dude, we want a ball just like him.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of it one more time, like what you were saying, I was thinking, like, I know what, you know, everybody got their preconceived type thoughts of what they think that makes a champion, right? So I feel like it takes ability and the mindset. So what would be some intangible things that you point out, like, that you would find consistent throughout, like, that make up a champion? Like some of the intangibles that you've seen consistent throughout the years.
Well, I think that you have to be smart. I think there's a lot of teams in the National Football League that have great players, but you know, how smart are you? I mean, you know, there's a difference between football aptitude and, you know, understanding the game. But you know, I think a lot of teams that are really just prepared and collectively are just accountable. I mean, those guys. I mean, it's all, you know. When I went to the NFL, I found out right away that it's not about being physical. You know, you got to be fast, but you got to use your head. You got to understand the game, and I think that you have to have that. I think obviously you have to have a tremendous leadership, and I think that comes from your quarterback. You have to have a great quarterback that really makes the plays. And I think Dak got a lot of criticism last year, and rightly so. I mean, there's some times when, you know, there's a reason. That's what goes along. I mean, as much as I'd love to be a damn quarterback and have all the money and the glamour, man, there's a lot of criticism that comes along with that position. You guys know that. I mean, look at that's probably the toughest position to play in the NFL is be the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. But if you win, it's the best position, the best team to play on when you're great at that. But I think that, you know, coaching is obviously, you know, it's a different type of brand football now. I mean, I had one of the greatest coaches that just do everything to push your buttons, and Jimmy Johnson. But I think that you have to really just, again, it takes this really calmness. It takes this focus to really, when you're under the gun, you know how it is, when you're making a decision under pressure. I mean, it can't be this impulsive, okay, let me just try to make that play and hopefully we'll make it. I mean, the impulsive decision, especially when it comes to playing quarterback, man, you can't miss on those too much. And I think consistency to me is really be consistent in doing it over and over. And again, I cannot reiterate, you guys heard me talk about this, being able to play great in the big games, man. That's when that's when you define you. Yeah. Whenever when LeBron James has to make a shot, or, you know, MJ, or all these guys are players, Patrick Mahomes, you know, all these great players, man, and all collecting their team, man. That's what they do.
You got to live for them kind of moments.
I remember you had 3 sacks. I remember you had like 3 sacks in a playoff game for us, man. I think I was like 12 years old, man.
I was gonna say, how old were you? Like in your diapers, or in your poo-poo diaper, or what?
Yeah. I just broke the first rule of jiu-jitsu. Bad, man. I didn't mean to do you like that.
No, it's all good. Hey, look.
I remember them sacks though.
All right, that's what's most important.
It's a perfect example. I mean, I played with a bunch of dogs. Charles Haley, Tony Tolbert, Ken Norton Jr. I mean, we dominate. Russell Maryland, Leon Lett. But you never knew when it was your time. It's like, hey, look, I want to be like that dude. I want to get my opportunity. And that's the thing about it. When you get your opportunity, that's when you got to take advantage, especially in those big games. Because we're talking about resume. I mean, hopefully they won't cancel culture or what you used to do when you played in the NFL or what you did championship. I'm just kind of, having a little fun with that. But really, they do not cancel those things. They don't forget the history of that, because you had your moment. You're in a big game. You had your shot. You got your shot, and hell, I took advantage of it. I mean, who knows in a game like that? You don't know if you're going to throw for 400 yards and have 3 touchdowns. Or you don't know if you're a run stopper that has the opportunity to get 3 sacks in an NFC Championship game. So, man, that's a fun part about it right there, guys, is being able to have fun and just really just playing those big games and say, hey, dude, I want to be part of this too, man. I just don't want to, the guys that you expect the people to make plays. You want the role players, the guys that you don't hear their name a whole lot. Who's that? Wow, that dude just balled, man. He had 3 sacks in the game.
Yeah.
Well, I have a quick question for you, because since you did play at Oklahoma, you did play under Barry Switzer when y'all won y'all NCAA championship, and of course you played with Jimmy Johnson. So what's the difference in coaching styles there? Because I'm very interested in that.
Wow, that's people ask me that question, and I think that those guys did things differently. I think Coach Switzer was kind of this calm leader. That was had a very charismatic, a tremendous recruiter, and just kind of resonated with everyone. And really, I think that to me is he didn't really feel like he had to do things that Jimmy did. Like if we lost a game on a road trip, he'd tell the flight attendant, "Don't feed them because they didn't win the game. They don't need to eat." I mean, that's kind of some of the things that Coach Johnson would do. I mean, he would just try to. He would look for their soul, like what I need to do to send a message. And I always asked him. I did a podcast. And I had him on. I asked him those questions. He goes, "Well, I just need you guys to understand the message is that I don't like to lose." I said, "Well, we don't like to lose either, Coach, but every once in a while you get your ass kicked." But, but both those guys, Coach Switzer, he is such a tremendous dude. I mean, he is more, and not to say anything, negative against Coach Johnson, but I think he's more personable, and not personable because I think Jimmy has his own way of doing it. I think now he's kind of changed his whole outlook towards life as you get older. But I mean, I could call Coach Switzer and he'd be my lifeline right now. And he does that to a lot of his players that he's coached since he's been in the National Football League. And he knows everything. He knows what kind of beer when he's recruiting. He knows what kind of beer your dad drinks. What kind of your favorite food, your mother. What's her favorite color? I mean, he goes in depth and he does things that really just like, wow, this guy knows everything about him. I'm like the most important guy in the room, and it just stuff like that. I mean, that's what he does, and really that motivates guys. It's like, okay, I want to play for this guy. I mean, this is what a guy cares about me, and I think that's what the difference is between really good coaches. They really care about you. They try to get as much as they can out of you, whichever philosophy, whichever technique it takes. They just try to get everything out of you and make you, if you doubt yourself, they make you get confidence back in you.
Make you ready to run through that wall for them, man.
Oh, absolutely, man. and that's what you want to do. And they're just totally different people, but ultimately they're 2 of the greatest coaches ever coached in college football or in the NFL.
Real quick, shout out to Matt Batten for the super chat. Shout out to Dwayne Brown for the super chat. Shout out to my boy Mike with the super chat. Also, shout out to Omega, Dexter, and Charlie. Landlord, I know you guys got a couple. You got a couple super chats.
Let me give the people some love. Shout out to Matt Batten. He says, "Nice to meet you, Mr. Tony." He said, "Nice to meet you." And shout out to Mickey. She said, "Salute to a legend and keep the trap moving mountains." Yes, sir. And yes, ma'am. I mean, but shout out to Matt with another 5. You know what I'm saying? everybody's showing you love, Mr. Tony. So we appreciate all the love and support from the people.
Right.
Man,
And shout out to Dwayne Brown for the $5 donation. I appreciate you, brother.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And since we, and I'm gonna tell you this right now, since we talking about donations and all this stuff, Mr. Tony, I need you to go put your wallet up because we about to dig in your pockets real quick, man.
Is that what you're saying? All these good things about me to kind of set me up.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I see how this is.
Listen to me. Cowboy Nation been good to us. I ain't gonna ask you for no dollars, but I will ask you. I do need to know, how is it really doing contracts with Jerry Jones? Like,
that's a great question.
Like for real, like.
Actually sitting down, making a deal with Jerry.
Put a pen in your hand, smiling, him smiling. I want to know, is his legs crossed when he talk to you, or is they not crossed? Is he just chilling? How is that really going on? I need to know. Go through that.
You did it twice, so we want to know, did you have to coach yourself up the second time? Or, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's funny. When I was traded to Dallas and I found this out because you asked me about Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer. If you haven't had a chance, you got to get the audio version of the book or the hard copy of this book, The Swagger, and it's a tremendous book. But it was funny because Jerry Jones in the book, Jimmy talks about this. That he was talking about trading for me when I came to Atlanta, from Atlanta, because it was just kind of a toxic this environment, and I just wanted out. Mm-hmm. And so Jerry and I just. I just found this out when I was listening to the audiobook that Jimmy was going to make this trade for me, and so they made the trade for me. He called me and said, "Hey, Tony, we're going to bring you to Dallas." I'm like, hell yeah, I'm there. I cannot wait. Mm-hmm. And then I guess the next day, whenever they announced the trade, Jerry was doing a press conference saying, "Man, we got this guy, Tony Casillas, and we're great to have him. He's going to help us, our defensive front." He said, "Hell, he didn't even know who Tony Casillas was." So it's like, but that's what, here's the reality of it. It doesn't really matter. I think Jerry is such a personable and just a salesperson, but brilliant, obviously. I mean, the success of the franchise. He makes you feel like we want you. Like, again, he's very persuasive, very charismatic. Just make you feel like, hey, man, I'm going to give you $1 billion, but obviously it kind of feels like that. But you're going to be here for a lifetime. And you're like, okay. And then just the star and the brand and it's America's team. It's like, wow, I want to be here. And
excuse me, Wiz, you got a spam in the chat. You got to get rid of that.
I got it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Tony.
So I think that's the comfort level. He just makes you feel like, hey, we need you. You're part of the puzzle. We need to have you, whatever it is, whether it's the equipment guy or whether you're throwing footballs or kicking or whatever. He just has that vibe, and really, it's an environment that really just makes you feel. I think maybe entitled may be a kind of a strong word to use, but these guys playing there, I mean, think about it. I mean, when you go to Dallas, you're going to have probably 2 million followers on Instagram automatically or whatever. I'm just saying, it's the brand. And so he makes you feel like you're part of that. Like you're one of us and you're playing for America's team, but hey, don't make no mistake, brothers. Whenever it's time to put you out in the pasture, Jerry will cut your ass.
It's still a business. Yeah. It's still a business. Get rid of it.
You said what happened to so much remorse. You said that so much remorse. Yeah. Jerry going to cut your ass. I'm going to say that right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a business.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Eddie.
Nah, man. So I got another one for you. So you still follow your Oklahoma Sooners, right?
Yeah, I do. My son's getting ready to graduate from school there, so we'll see after that. But yeah, my money still goes to OU. Yes, your question. Hell yeah, I follow my Sooners.
All right, so let me ask you, what do you know about Eric Gray?
Eric Gray, is that the running back, correct?
Correct.
He's coming out.
Yes,
well, I mean, I saw him play. I don't really. I think he's got a lot of moxie to him. I don't know. I haven't followed him to this point. I think he's obviously coming out in the draft, or has he got one more year? I don't know if he's declared or not.
He's supposed to be coming out. He went to the combine.
Okay, but I haven't really heard much about him. I hear is Bijan Robinson, it seems like, but I mean, I like the kid. I mean, when he did at Oklahoma, when he had the chance to run the football, I mean, he showed up and showed out. So I think that the running back position is kind of elusive now because it's the shelf life of it is not that long. And but I like the kid, what he did at Oklahoma. And I think you look at some of the running backs that played in the NFL, I mean, they've done well, but you didn't really get to see enough version of him. But I think that he's got a lot of characteristics that can really make him a good NFL running back. And I think obviously he'll get his shot somewhere.
I got a question because this is just I can't let this go. I can't let this go. I just cannot let this go. I'm sorry. I can't let this go. You said a couple minutes ago, and you don't got to speak on any examples of anything that happened, but I just want to know when you say an organization is toxic, we're talking about $1 billion organization. What is your definition of because when I think of toxic, I'm thinking about my baby mama, like, oh my God. like instantly came in my head, like I didn't hear nothing you said after the last 5 minutes. You know I want to know.
We're all in those toxic relationships, right?
Yeah.
Like stay in, we get the hell out, right?
Yeah. I want to know when a player says then an organization is toxic. What is an example of that? Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's the way they do things. It's the way that, you know, it trickles down. It trickles down from the ownership to the locker room. And, you know, for me, when I talk about that, I talk about an organization, all they care is making money and not spending money. I mean, there's organizations that maybe spend money, but I don't know, maybe in the building, it's you know, the attitude. It's like any environment, work environment, right? I mean, if people aren't positive and really just sound like thinking, okay, 12 games in the season, our season will be over because we're going to be out of the playoffs. And then people are thinking about what they're going to do in the offseason, not really thinking about what they're supposed to be doing. And really, look, and I think people have a hard time understanding that because it's like, okay, dude, you're making $4 or $5 million a year. How can I be toxic? Well, I mean, I know that's great, but you know, in any job, you get paid. But if you're not happy doing it, then you come to work, you're negative, you're kind of bitter, and you're like, oh, I'm doing this because I'm getting paid. Well, we all understand that starts to affect your performance and your motivation, people around you, and then next thing you know, the coach loses a team. You know, guys are against each other in the locker room, and no one does anything about it because the bottom line is that the ownership may not go out and spend the money. They might not bring a coach in that they think that won't get out of their comfort zone, the fraternity of hiring coaches, and they don't change things up. I think that's the issue that a lot of people, you know, when you go to any organization, if they're going to change new ownership, then that usually means they're going to have a different type of outlook, a different type of vibe, different type of philosophy. And I've been in an organization where there was no end to that. And look, I mean, it's a game and you get paid a lot of money, but ultimately you're getting out there and getting the hell beat out of yourself and you're going to work. And look, I'm not feeling sorry for all these dudes that are getting paid a lot of jack. I'm just saying, once you get in that vibe where, damn, man, I'm dreading going to work, and that's when you become, then that's not a very good environment to work in. And so to me, there can be toxicity when it comes to that because no one understands that. And all they want to do is like, hey, I want to get mine. I mean, think about it. Yeah. There's a lot of guys out there. Hey, I just want to get mine. And look, it's ever since you guys played sports, you guys played a team sport. Yeah. It's not all about that, man. And I think that Cowboys team of the 90s, that's why they're so good. And that's why, because people weren't selfish, man. And I think it's a trickle-down thing.
I got one good question for you. If I'm not mistaken, during your stint through with the Atlanta Falcons, you had Wade Phillips as one of your coaches, right?
Yeah, I think I had a lot of coaches. I don't think Wade was on the staff. Wade was there after I was there. But
okay.
I mean, I remember I had four, and I'm not here to slight those guys. It's just, it's just, to me, I mean, you talk about Oklahoma. I came from Oklahoma, won a national championship. And then one thing about being a top player picked in the draft, yeah, it's great. In the pecking order, you're going to get paid more money, but that means you're probably going to go to a team and it's not very good. They don't have a winning record. And so how are you going to turn that around? So, so, I mean, you just do things that you're supposed to, that may trigger that. And I probably did some things that kind of regret, maybe not regret, but I mean, there was a lot of revolving doors, man. I mean, there was people going through that door and coaches, and it just wasn't fun, man. And look, I mean, your career's short enough, but damn, let's try to win a game. Let's win games.
I know you was happy to go to the Cowboys after that. You know what I'm saying? Right after that Atlanta stint.
The Cowboys, well, I mean, you're talking about culture and changes and things like that. And now the Cowboys are actually kind of like going through a culture change right now too, because you're going from like Kellen Moore, who was hailed as this new type of like guru. And you know, a lot of this, I gotta ask you just straight up, because this is probably the number one question in the comment box right now. What were as a defensive player, looking at Kellen Moore's play calling over the last couple of years, what were your thoughts on that? Because I mean, I'm not gonna elaborate. I just want to know, what were your thoughts? Just ask the question. I don't want nobody sees.
No influence.
I thought McCarthy was calling the plays because he always had. I don't know if that was kind of like his nervous mechanism, but he had that play sheet, and he had it. Seemed like he always had it with him, and I don't know if he was able to override any decision making. I think Kellen Moore. Look, I think that's what the Cowboys, they did obviously with Jason Garrett. I think they were hoping Jason Garrett, he would be today's Jason Garrett, be an offensive coordinator, and then have a chance to maybe, if Mike McCarthy didn't have a really good year last year and Dan Quinn didn't bring him in and did the things they did, then maybe it was like, okay, let's bring in Kellen Moore in that type of fashion. But it didn't work out because Kellen, I think that I think offensive coordinators, they get stuck in their ways and they go back to the same play. And really the definition of insanity is like trying to do the same thing over with, different results doing the same way. And so he was doing things that way. And I think that they really, I think I don't know why they didn't do this when they first hired him, but why didn't they let Mike McCarthy do the call playing when he first came in? I mean, and here's the thing too, and I'm not, again, you got to look at this a broad way, is that Mike McCarthy had a good quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is a pretty damn good quarterback. And Aaron Rodgers really, they helped each other. And, McCarthy was a good play caller, but it makes it a little easier when you have someone like that and you have the tools around you. But I just think Kellen Moore, they think that they said, look, we're going to make some changes. They needed to. That McCarthy, you can't fire McCarthy after he wins 13 games so I think that they decided to go Mike McCarthy's way and hopefully bring couple of different playmakers in there. But I think that's ultimately that's what they did. Now we saw how fast it took it didn't take Kellen Moore that long to get a job, right?
No,
yeah.
He got a job.
They signed him right up.
Almost like he had the job before he left.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what the rumors are, but they're just rumors. But what you think about the best Sooner we got on the roster today, Mr. CD Lamb? What's your feelings about CD?
And I'm not just saying this because I'm an OU alum, but man, I love the guy when he was in Norman. I love his passion. I think he's obviously a very, I wasn't skeptical, but I really was wanting to see how he do as a number one receiver. And I think he answered that question, right?
Yes. Answered the bell.
Yeah. And I just think he's got so much playmaking ability. And I'd like to see him get the ball more vertical down the field. But, I mean, anytime you get the ball to him, and that's probably why Kellen Moore, they didn't get the ball enough to their playmaker. And, you got to have other guys to help complement him. But I think the guy's got a lot of potential. He's going to put up some big numbers. And he's just going to be another guy not another guy, but it's a tremendous wide receiver that wore number 88. And he's not dynamic. Just give him the ball, let him make plays.
Facts.
And then I want to ask you a question real quick. What was your realistic playing weight?
Well, I tell people it fluctuates between 275 and 300.
Okay.
Obviously as you get older, you kind of drop all that. And I think when you get older, you want to, for health reasons and just fit wellness,
The
you got to
reason,
shred that way unless you're like some of my defensive back buddies who are bigger than I. And it's like every time we get around, I'm like, wait a second, did you play a 3 technique or did you play, were you a DB?
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the reason I
but
asked, go ahead.
no, I mean that's what I weighed. That was my playing weight through my 12-year career.
The reason I ask is because the Dallas Cowboys, over the last, couple years, we've, when you were playing, we were stamped with run the damn ball, stop the damn run. Like that was like our stamp. On the offensive side of the ball, we're gonna run the damn ball. You know what I'm saying? On the defensive side of the ball, we're gonna stop the damn run. Like those were our stamp. And it's crazy because my whole brand is literally built around those things. I have hats that say stop the damn run, and I have hats that say run the damn ball, right? Now, and we both got them on right now. You know what I'm saying? And now the Dallas Cowboys, like it almost feels like they don't really value stopping the run. You know what I'm saying? So I want to know, like, because I know you watch the Cowboys. Is it a defensive tackle situation or is it a linebacker situation? Like, which, if you had to improve one of them, either the defensive tackle position or the linebacker, which would you do to get us the most quickest success? Because it's almost getting our stamp that we can't stop the run right now.
Well, first of all, I think that when you run the type of style that they run, they're kind of like they get upfield and want to make plays and cause disruption. And, that's fine. But if a guy slip blocks you and gets on the other side, gets to the second level and blocks, Lake Vander Esch, and you get your shoulders turned, there's this big crease in the right side of the line of scrimmage, that's on you. It's like it's a 2-for-1, man. It's like, okay, if I'm going to go upfield, I'm going to miss, and I got an assignment to create, close that space where the linebacker can flow and move laterally to see where the backs are going and to fill that gap. And he's got all this traffic and people like knocking him on the ground and he can't see anything. Yeah. Then that's a defensive lineman problem. I think to go back to Jalen Smith, I think sometimes he played so reckless and with so much energy, he loses his mind. And I think that they got some smart linebackers, but really it's all based on the guys up front because you have to hold that gap. And then after that, you go to the ball and you just make the play. You haul ass and you just play with your hair on fire.
We definitely need Neville and also Digazur to play better. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they got a little soft in the middle. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean they got you can't be soft, and it takes an attitude too, man. It's like, dude, this is my responsibility. They're paying me to be a freaking run stopper. Okay, I play first and second down. I go out there. I tell you, I'm going to play the best technique. I understand the offense, the defense. I understand what the offense is running. I'm going to give my guy, my quarterback behind me. I call him the linebacker, Mac, weak side. That guy, I'm going to give him a chance to make plays. And I guarantee it, people don't see that. It doesn't show up in the stats. It's not sexy. But the next day when I watch that film and they're averaging like 2 yards per carry and my linebacker's balling his ass off, that's on us, man.
You did your job.
And they're not going to be averaging 6 or 7 yards a carry.
And that's been like, I think it's crazy, man, because I don't think y'all ever had a time where y'all not your linebacker, but your safety was like your free safety, strong safeties were like tops and tackles. And almost every
Woodson, man. That dude, he dropped down. I hear you though. I understand.
But for the Cowboys, it's like Woody was just a different. He was a
different breed.
Yeah, and shout out to him because he's getting I love the fact that he's getting his accolades right now. You know what I'm saying? That's absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And and it's perfect because the position needs it right now too. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you have guys like Donovan Wilson, who literally is a pseudo linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. And it's like, him, if he wasn't there, I love LVE, but for whatever reason, I feel LVE is more of a weak side linebacker. I think the Cowboys still need someone who can really, slap them D tackles on the side. Hey, we going this way, we going that. And you don't really see a lot of movement from the D tackles once they're there, they're there. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I feel like if we can upgrade the obviously the D tackle position, but then also, upgrade the line, because I know one thing about the D tackles always make great linebackers. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, I mean, I agree with you. I think Leighton Vanders is obviously, he had a tremendous rookie year, but I think last year he had a great year. I mean, he's coming back for another 2 years and getting paid. And, but I think that's, I will say this, and when we're in a game and all of a sudden you look back there and all the linebackers are getting knocked out of the frame when you're watching the game, the game tape the next day, they're a little upset at you and they're yelling at you. They're swearing at you in the huddle. It's like, you guys need to get your crap together because we're getting knocked off back to the defensive backs. And I'm like, okay. But, I think that, and I say this all the time, it becomes like the technique, man. I mean, that's the one thing that really, you can be like this big space eater and pick, clean, and just take up space. But there's a technique to that, okay? You're just not going to plug some guy in there. You want guys that are from tackle to tackle that can move laterally. That's it. That's all you're asking to do. What's that? Yeah. 3-4 yards on each side, but no missteps. Read the guy in front of you. Understand the philosophy. And I don't know. I think that's. I thought that they had depth at that position, but once you start getting some guys banged up, it really kind of just accentuates some of the things that you're struggling with. And really, I mean, those linebackers in San Francisco, man, those some dogs there, boy.
I was just about to say, it's even dire for us. It's even worse for us because we got small safeties. You know what I'm saying? It's even worse when the defensive lineman, when the O lineman get to the second level, because we got small safeties back there too. You know what I'm saying? So they really getting blowed off the ball. Yeah.
They'll save you. But I think it's all just, it's the depth, and it's really just the attitude and the technique and understanding what you need to do, and really just someone giving you the business whenever you're not doing your job, man.
Yeah. Hey, we got about 3 more minutes, man. We're gonna do some rapid fire questions. Everybody's gonna ask you one quick question, man, to get up out of here, and then shoot, man, you're gonna give us your honest response to it. HTM, I'm gonna let you start off, man.
All right, man. So, I really should have did more prep work. I think I shot out most of my questions already.
That's all good.
I ain't gonna lie.
What's my favorite alcohol? You can ask me that.
Yeah, to be at the liquor store.
In the liquor store.
Brown or white.
Both colors, man.
He like them both.
Tequila, man. It's tequila.
Hey, I got a question.
Tequila, the best drink in the world.
Shoot, man, I heard that. Quick question: if you drafting at 26, what position you taking for this team right here?
If there's a good defensive lineman available, maybe there. I think maybe that's a position you got to look at inside. I think it's the best player, but John Robinson, for some reason, I don't think he's going to be available.
Me neither.
Maybe, yeah. But I think you really got to find a player that you've done your due diligence on. If there's a wide receiver as crazy as, then trade for Brandon Cooks, I think someone that's really going to help you immediately, if that makes sense. And, it's as hard as that's to do, because everyone's been there and done that as a rookie. You contribute, you change, and, it's the transition. You don't know what these guys are going to do. That's the hardest part about it. It's really just hitting on the players you draft. But I would say a defensive tackle, a running back, another wide receiver, a linebacker. I think really ultimately this comes who's available that can help you. Really, I think it's, I don't think there's the need. Look what happened when CD, was it 3 years ago? Was he drafted 3-4 years? He dropped, he fell right there in the Cowboys' lap, and they were able
right
to
in their lap.
Yeah, so I think there's things you address, but we talked about the defensive line inside. If you can find a kid or someone there that can help you, pull the trigger.
Well, I got one for you. You know, my place, what I call mine is the trap over here in my YouTube.
Oh
But
no.
okay, yeah, we trapped out. But look, this mine is gonna definitely be a little nefarious. Okay, so look, I'm gonna put you in a bind.
Go
If
ahead.
you had to bet the house on any defensive player on this team, who would it be other than Micah Parsons?
You know what? I love D-Law. I think he's I think he I don't think he gets enough credit. I mean, it's all about it's based on stats, and as a defense edge rusher, it's all about sacks. I
Yeah.
think he's a guy you can trust. But I like Trayvon. I think Trayvon with Stephon
Trey
Gilmore.
Diggs. Oh, you,
I think, yeah, I like him. I think he's a guy that you can trust, and I think Leighton. I mean, it's all about guys that play consistent, right?
yeah, yeah,
And it's all about consistency. You know, they may not play great every game, but they play good, and they
yeah,
make
yeah.
enough plays that it's gonna contribute to winning or even come close to losing, but almost winning. So I think that. You know, Dak, I want to believe in Dak. You said defensively, right?
Yeah, I
So
was saying defense.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I think those guys, but really, I want to find someone inside that I can really just think. We need to find a player like Leroy Glover. I mean, we're going back to different, you know, like Leon Lett. Look, guys that really
Yeah,
just
yeah,
cause a lot of disruption.
yeah.
But I mean, those two guys right there. I mean, they're you can count on those dudes. I mean, that's why they've
Hey,
been in the league, especially the Marcus Lawrence. I think the dude is from top to bottom, does everything, plays the run, and is a tremendous pass rusher.
you got me with Diggs. I should have excluded him too.
I got HD, I'm gonna let you go real quick, but I want to know, Tony, real quick, man. What are in 30 seconds, man? What are your thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, man, Dak Prescott?
He's got to be better. He's got to. I mean, I think that you know some of these wide receivers that are free agents and they want to go to different teams. I think it's based on who the quarterback is, because you know Dak. We give Dak a hall pass from last year, but I think is he good enough to lead him to an NFC Championship? Yeah, but he's got to get better. He's got to clean up the mistakes, and he can't make those impulsive decisions. Ultimately, lead you to losing a football game. And you know, I think he's a tremendous player, and without a doubt, an amazing dude and an amazing leader. You can't ask for much more.
Okay, go ahead, HTM. Good point. Good point.
Nah, man. So as you know, we are wrapping it up. So I just want to take the time out to say thank you to Mr. Casillas for coming over, showing love to the liquor store. So
Yes,
just know
sir.
that we will be live again later on today for a little bit because it's my anniversary, so I gotta show my wife some love. So
Oh, nice!
yeah,
Congratulations.
hey, I
Happy
appreciate you,
anniversary,
man.
sir.
Appreciate y'all. So yeah, man. So I will be live later on for about an hour. Just tap in over here at the liquor store, hit the like, the share, subscribe button. And I appreciate y'all.
That boy said it's my anniversary, but I will be live later on.
Your wife gonna be in there with that knife, man.
Nah, he got one of them wives that understands. Listen to me. To be in this game, you gotta have one that understand, bro.
They just said we just signed Ronald Jones.
You got it. Oh my God.
We just signed Ronald Jones. Is that true, Jumu?
We'll Google it. Tony, I ain't about to start that right now. Not even about to start that.
All right, guys.
420 yards to replace Zeke. I don't believe it. Tony, man, I appreciate you for coming in. I appreciate you for stopping by, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. They absolutely loved you, man. Anytime that you're available on Tuesday, man, we would love to have you on here, man, and to just have your information and your knowledge as far as the game, man. Is there anything you working on right now, man, or you just enjoying retirement, man? Let me know.
Man, you know, you can follow me on social media, Instagram, Tony Casillas, on Twitter, TC Casillas. Follow me there. I actually did podcasts. You can go to the YouTube channel and put in the Tony Casillas show. I think I have like 18 shows that are archived I've done the last couple of years. You can find me. So follow me on the social media platform, and yeah, I enjoyed being on the show with you. It's been fun, and you guys do a hell of a job, man.
Appreciate you, sir. Appreciate you.
Alright.
Hey, shout out
All right.
hey, Ian. I see you with the stars too. Appreciate you, sir, Ian. But hey, I'm gonna let you go. Tell you I appreciate you and HTM and landlord, man. Let them know where they can find you at so we can get you guys up out of here.
Already, man. I go by landlord from Alabama with the same handle on all social media, sir. Appreciate you coming through, Mr. Tony Casillas.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, you be blessed, sir.
Man. God bless.
So, yo, let's go ahead. I mean, y'all got time to talk, or what y'all up out of here?
Oh yeah, it's over for me.
Yeah, I probably need to be heading on now, honestly.
And yes, it is true. He did sign a deal with the Dallas Cowboys, Ronald Jones.
So how much?
I have no earthly idea. So, I just wanted to piss West Coast
West Coast off.
here.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I'm leaving with that. God bless.
In this